How you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal, and we've talked ad nauseum this year about publishers getting their hands on licenses that they probably shouldn't have made into video games that will go on consoles that were intended for younger kids, right? There was Dirty Harry, Friday the 13th. We're going to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street at some point. Lots of games. Cool World got a video game. And despite there being animated characters in Cool World had no business being a video game. Especially for the NES. Today's game is an example of that as well. This game is from 1990 and is based on a film by Sam Raimi from like the very late 80s, very early 90s. That starred Liam Neeson. Sam Raimi couldn't get his hands on. He couldn't get anybody to let him do a superhero movie, so he made his own superhero. This game is a result of that superhero movie. Thing about it, I used to love this game. Playing it now, though, this game ain't good. It ain't good for a bunch of reasons. Let's get into it. Today, we're going to take a look at Darkman. Now, the film Darkman starred Liam Neeson as a scientist by the name of Dr. Peyton Westlake, who for some reason drew the ire of a gangster named Durant. And Durant sends his people to Westlake's lab looking for important papers. And Westlake's assistant is killed, and in the process, they blow up the lab with Westlake in it. And it burns him severely. He ends up getting a surgical procedure that renders him unable to feel pain, but also stops regulating his adrenaline. So this gives him super strength to an extent, but it also gives him no control over his emotions and his rage and all that, so he will flash out. And this entire thing is basically this doctor, who now goes by Darkman, attempting to defeat Durant and get his revenge. And that's the entirety of this game. Now, the game has good source material. This could have been a good game, but for some reason, Ocean has this really bad habit of, and graphically, the game doesn't look bad. Music is excellent. The controls and hit detection are the biggest problem here. For some reason, your character kind of slides, and I noticed this is a common thing with Ocean's games, because it happens in RoboCop 2 as well, where you stop moving but your character slides a little bit, and they pawn it off to momentum, but nah, B, y'all could have done better. Hit detection is so hit or miss. You could possibly hit somebody 4 straight times and get rid of them, or they could proceed to slowly but surely churn your energy to nothing and knock you off of a ledge and kill you. That's another thing that's a problem in this game. Some of the platforming is really spotty. And again, there's some cool stuff in this game, like the whole thing where you gotta take pictures of enemy characters in order to make masks to impersonate them, which is something directly from the movie. It's a cool concept. Too bad it was executed so poorly in this game. This game should have been so much better, but Ocean was inept when it came to the NES. I can't speak on what these games look like, the Amiga versions of any of them or anything like that. I do know that there was a Game Boy version of Darkman, and it was just a simple beat 'em up without all the extra stuff in, none of the platforming. You just punch people in the face with a dude in a trench coat. Kind of looked like Nightshade a little bit. But nostalgia makes you want to try things. Nostalgia made me want to revisit this, and I'm glad it did, because you don't want to meet your heroes, and you don't want to revisit video games that you thought were good that end up being trash. And that's what happened here, for me at least. Somebody might like this game, I don't know. But anyway, if you want a copy of Darkman, loose carts, you can get a loose cart about $30. Complete copies go for about $100. Just get a loose cart if you really want this game that bad on your shelf. I can't see why, because it's not a good video game. Ocean's done better stuff. I mean, Platoon is a great example of something that Ocean developed that was better than this. And who knew that a Platoon video game would actually be good? But yeah, this has been the 8-Bit Animal. We don't need to talk about Darkman ever again. Except, for the movie. And I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yeah, so this is either an indictment on stan culture or a port of a classic PC game. Either one works, honestly.